Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, then welcome. My name is Sarah, and today's video is going to be a little bit different from what I normally put up, because I've been umming and ahhing about whether or not to do this kind of video, and I think I've decided to do it because hopefully further down the line, when I'm better, I'll be able to look back and see how far I've come. So that's obviously a little bit cryptic, unless obviously you've seen the title of the video, and it is basically how I am or am not coping with having social anxiety. It's only been really the last 12 months that I've realised that's what I have. Before that point, I thought I was just odd. I just thought that there was something wrong with me. I tried to film this while she was sleeping, but you were having none of it, were you? Half an hour and that was it, whereas she normally has close to 2 hours, so I shall try and complete this with her. Hopefully she'll sit nicely. Yes, so I always thought that there was something wrong with how I felt, all the thoughts that I thought, and it was only until I'd say probably 12 months ago that I even realised that I had social anxiety. I find it very difficult to think anything positive about myself, even when it comes to you. So I don't know whether that's part of the anxiety or whether that's something else as well, but I found that my anxiety has gotten worse since I've had children. The thoughts that I have upset me, scare me, make it very difficult to do things sometimes. I find it a lot easier to, I find it a lot easier to do things when Mark is with me. I feel a lot stronger as a person when he's with me, which I know some feminists will scoff at, but that's just who I am. I need somebody there to make me feel more confident. I don't know really whether or not I'm coping with it as such. Some days I do, some days I don't. I suppose that's the whole point of it. I tried to get help last year for it, and the person that I saw I just didn't get on with. I didn't gel. I didn't agree with the points that she was making. I just felt that the situation was just a convenient answer for her. It was just an easy option for her to choose that particular path that was explaining why I am how I am, and I just didn't agree with it, so I didn't go back. But even going to that appointment, I only had the one appointment, and even going to that was very difficult for me. If anybody else has got anxiety around, particularly surrounding your children, then you'll understand that the feelings that you get sometimes, you feel like if you're admitting that you're not coping, then they might take your children away. So I found that very difficult to overcome, because I had to go by myself, because obviously Mark had to stay with the children. So I found that very difficult to even just sit there, because my mind starts going over all these things, irrational things, just spiral out of control. I found it quite difficult recently, which is why I've not been as consistent with my videos, which is why I felt I had to put this up to explain to you guys a little bit about why they've been a little bit irregular. But also, as I said, I'd quite like to look back on this in the hope that further along the line I get a little bit better. I find it easier. It'd be nice to see how far I come, because I'm trying to help myself, and hopefully I can get there and do that. But obviously, if anybody else watching this has anxiety, I hope it might help you know that you're not the only one that thinks insane, ludicrous, scary, upsetting thoughts. Are you sleepy? You're sleepy. But yeah, I just thought I would give a rundown of certain things that I think. And sometimes I even find it difficult explaining them to my husband, because he obviously doesn't have anxiety, and some people struggle to understand why you think those things. I know my dad struggles sometimes. If I explain something to him, he just thinks that I'm being silly, which is no bash on him. He's just from a generation that doesn't understand necessarily. As I said, he doesn't have it himself. So when I've tried to explain certain things that I feel why I haven't done something because of what's popped into my head, it's just not easily explained, really. But I find I've also, before I get on to what it is that I think, I've found that I've actually... Oh, your sleep's unrolled. I found that I've lost friends. I don't know whether it's down to the anxiety or we just weren't supposed to be friends. I classed them as close friends, and which took me a while to accept and get over, and I was very upset about it, because as I said, I classed these people as close friends, and thought that our friendship meant more. I'm definitely more wary in how I select my friends. I have a very small collective of people that I trust to tell my feelings to, and I think that's probably, for my personality, the best way to be. I don't think I suit large groups of friends because of my anxiety. I don't know. I just seem to be better off in smaller groups. But one of the anxiety panic attacks that I get quite a lot is things you play peekaboo with yourself. Anything happening to the children. Yeah, should we take this up then if you're not going to go sleep? Thank you. For instance, I went somewhere on my own. Yeah, in a second, sweetheart. I went somewhere on my own and had to drive somewhere that I hadn't really been before. And there were lots of signs on the road saying rocks falling, and then my brain just went into overdrive about what would I do if the rocks fell off the side of the mountain in front of the car. What would I do? If I saw it happening, would I accelerate or would I brake? Can hear you, Mrs. And then it made me think, what would I do if I had the kids in the car with me, and then I was getting upset, and this literally has happened from a road sign. I get very upset watching certain things on TV programs because I've always been an emotional person and I've always immersed myself into the film or the program as if it was happening to me, which Mark's always found rather amusing, that I will literally cry and like sob at everything. But you see mummy on there? Yeah. But since having children, I've just found that particularly difficult. I struggle to watch certain news stories, certain events that happen, like recently with the horrible shootings in New Zealand. I struggle to even watch the news about that, knowing that there were children involved. It just makes me feel, it just makes me feel like I don't want to take my children out of the house. Some weeks I don't, because of the thoughts that I get, and then it's like a constant mental battle, which is exhausting, because once my anxiety subsides, my mum guilt kicks in and I feel like a terrible mum because I've not taken my children out anywhere. And it's quite a difficult thing to battle with, and it is. That was silly, wasn't it? It's mentally exhausting. I'm constantly tired. I could sleep from 7 p.m. when Freddie goes to bed until easily 8-9 in the morning because I'm just so mentally exhausted. But that then makes me feel bad on what have you found? Your torch. Oh, lovely accessory. That makes me feel bad on Mark then, because he is the one that gets up in the night if either of the kids wake up. If they wake up early, he gets up because I'm just exhausted, and I'm so grateful for him, or to him, for him and to him, for doing that, because he obviously has to go to work. So he is up at 5 in the morning if that's when Ivy or Freddie decides they want to wake up, and he gets up with them, and then he goes to work all day, and then he comes home and he does bedtime because I'm with them all day, so we said the bedtime was his thing and his way of bonding with them. So he does bedtime, and then obviously we have our evening, and then we go to bed, and if they wake up in the night, he gets up, so he could be awake at 1 in the morning for 10 minutes trying to settle them. I mean, I'm awake too because I'm a really light sleeper, and he also wakes me up because he snores. But it's just constant guilt all round. I've got guilt that I'm not a good enough wife to him because I'm not supporting him in the nights. I've got guilt that I'm not a good enough mum because my anxiety sometimes stops me doing things with the children. And I have anxieties and worries that I'm not a good enough friend because I can't always go to things with my friends because of my anxiety, or I feel like if we do go out somewhere as a friendship group, sometimes, or most of the time, not sometimes, most of the time, my friends will pay for me to have a drink because they know that I don't work and Mark's salary isn't amazing. I can't afford to go, like if we go out somewhere and I have to pay for the kids to get in, or I have to pay for us to get in, that generally means that I don't have enough money for me to have something to drink, which is fine, and I'm happy with that, because at least she's wielding a head torch around, if you're wondering what it is she's got. You know, I'm happy with that. Be careful. But I suppose that shows what true friends are, really, because they don't want me to not have something. I'm not saying that true friends buy you, obviously not, but I'm not explaining it very well. But to me, they are very good friends, and I've not known them very long. I've only known them as long as Freddie has been alive, because they are my NCT friends. But I'm very, very grateful to them for everything that they do for me and my children. But I find it very, very difficult to do anything. Hello, gorgeous girl. And this has gone on way longer than I intended, so hopefully I can edit it down a little bit. But yeah, the kind of things that go on in my brain are quite... You okay, darling? You want your dummy? The kind of things that go on in my brain are quite scary and upsetting at times, and irrational. You know, my husband works in aviation, and he gets reports through on all the plane crashes and basically what's caused them, and he stopped telling me about them because I panic that I never want to go on a plane again. I never want to take my children on a plane in case something happens, and my brain starts flying all over the place, like what would happen, what would we do, and then I try and think, well, that's a fear that most people have. It's just that it grips me so much that I literally just want to hide away, not go outside, not to do anything, not to see anybody except Mark. Sometimes I don't even want to see other family members. I just want to be left alone. You okay, baby? I hope that I do get to a better place, and I hope this video, whether or not it helps somebody. I hope that it does, even if it's just to say that you're not the only one, because that can be quite scary too, thinking that you're the only one that thinks these crazy things. So there's obviously something wrong with you, and if anybody finds out, then, as I said, I fear that they'll take my children away, or they'll lock me up, and it's just not a nice place to be. So I think I'm going to end it here before it goes on too long and I get really upset, because nobody wants to see anybody ugly cry. And this little one wants to go downstairs and play with her brother. So I'm going to end it there. If you made it this far, then thank you very much. Please give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. You're going to come say goodbye? And I'll see you on the next video. We can say bye.